Voodoo number 6, written by Joshua Williamson, art by Sami Basri. We left off last issue with Voodoo and literally everybody else, including the audience, being made aware that Voodoo is a clone. She is a clone of a human being, an actual person named Priscilla Catane, who is currently in custody of the Black Razors, which are a military group, whatever. So this issue picks up where Voodoo's kind of just having an existential crisis for a second as everything's crashing down around her because the reactor core is apparently damaged on the Daemonite ship. But as it's doing its little countdown, she's like, okay, I'm going to go talk to the guys in charge of my mission, and I'm going to go get some answers. Technically, shouldn't be doing that, but definitely going to do that. So she opens up a portal, goes through, and everything starts exploding around her. Meanwhile, we go to the Black Razor bunker, and Fallon and Blackjack basically come to the conclusion of the only way that we're going to be able to do this is if we break out the original Priscilla. Like, that's just how we're going to be able to use her against her, because the original Priscilla was also experimented on by the Daemonites. So she has something special about her. So anyway, they basically come in, guns blazing, and start essentially attacking everybody inside this Black Razor unit and just going in to get Priscilla. It's just a breakout. So of course, everyone's like, Blackjack, you're one of us. Why are you fighting against us? And he's like, hey, don't ask too many questions and just stay down so I don't have to hit you harder. And as he's calling over the intercom for Fallon, Fallon shows up in Black Razor gear, wearing like what seems to be like a Green Lantern shield, but I'm sure it isn't. But anyway, she's just ready to go kick some ass, take some names. Meanwhile, we go to the Daemonite ship that supposedly Voodoo transported to. We see the 3 other halflings, whatever you want to call them, half-breeds, that were in the other one that fought Kyle Rayner earlier. They're walking on the ship, and apparently they've got new orders to go back and complete their missions on Earth, but as soon as they get there, they see Kyle Rayner, and it's like, oh, back down now, or you'll have to face the wrath of the Green Lantern. And they're like, you're not Kyle. We know what Green Lantern smells like. You're not him. And it's like, fine. And she transforms back into Voodoo. And immediately the one guy's like, hey, is your mission complete? Do you have the info on the superheroes? Because we kind of need that right now. Because this whole big thing happened in Grifter number 6. So are you good or not? And she basically like, hey, I'm going to see the War Council. And he's like, yeah, fat chance you are. And as he's laughing at her, she just slits his throat and says, like, nah, I'm going to go see the War Council. So the other 2 girls that are with him transform. They start to fight, but then Voodoo uses her shape-shifting abilities to turn into the Daemonite, like, Lord, called the Black Curate. Again, just listen to my thing on Grifter number 6. And starts attacking them, but they just, like, bow down. They're like, no, please, we are at your mercy. And he's like, okay. Cool. Do you know anything about Voodoo being a clone? And they're like, oh, what? We have no idea what you're talking about. I was like, fine, run away, be weak. I'm going to go talk to the War Council. So she runs on. We go back to the Black Razor prison. Priscilla wakes up. She sees that there are some scientists that are going to be escorting her out, despite the fact that she just wants to go home. She just wants to be free. Like, she hates being trapped here. But they're like, oh, no, see, we're going to undo whatever they did with you. We just need to run some more tests. And she's like, oh, this sucks. So they're about to put a sedative in her. The scientist says that he's truly sorry, but, you know, is he? And then as the sedative's about to go in, Fallon and Blackjack show up, blasting everybody in sight. They free Priscilla, and the scientist is like, are you guys crazy? She could be a danger to, like, everyone here. And as she gets one of her arms free, she just clocks the guy in the face. And she comments how, like, hey, I've been held up vertically for, like, months. I am not able to walk right now. Luckily, she doesn't have to. She just focuses for a second and she sprouts wings. And she's like, yeah, this is one of the things they did to me when they experimented on me. So let's just fly out of here. And she's also very pissed off at the Daemonites, if that wasn't clear, that they need to die for the things they did to her. So anyway, they fly out, and apparently Blackjack's concerned that the real boss will find out what they're doing. So then we cut to Blackhawks. We cut to the leader of the Blackhawks, Lincoln, who's getting a call saying that Fallon and Blackjack just did this thing. And Lincoln's like, oh, okay, they are both good agents, so they must have had a good reason, so let them out for now, but I hope that they know what they're doing. So, yeah, read Blackhawks, I guess. I don't know. Then we go back to Voodoo. She's busting her way in. The Damonites, once again, now not disguised, just a full-on pure Damonites. They're like, hey, stop. You're not getting into the War Council. You're a half-breed, and we don't care about your kind. And immediately they start launching into attack on her. She starts fighting her way through, and she seems to be doing a good job, but at some point she gets overrun because there's just too many of them. Then we cut to basically just like the War Council. They're all just talking about the events of Grifter number 6. Seriously, these books are so intertwined now, and I didn't see that coming. So they're like, hey, so they're mentioning Stormwatch in this as well. So all of these books that are bearing like the Edge covers are all intertwined. But they're like, okay, so here's the deal. We need to lead someone else into battle. I volunteer to be the general. And then as soon as he volunteers, he gets smacked in the face with something. And they all look over at the door. And in front of a pile of dead Damonite bodies is Voodoo saying like, hey, my name is Voodoo, and I got some questions. And that's where we leave off. Okay, so the issue on its own I like. I really do enjoy this issue. I think that the art is good. I think it has a good sense of, like, parallel stories, both being told, one person trying to break in order to get answers, the other person trying to break out the other person. So it's got nice parallel symmetries there. I like the way the story is told. My only thing is that I don't know how easily this story is understood by someone who hasn't been reading literally all the other Damonite-related comics. Stormwatch, Grifter, there was one other one that I can't remember. Blackhawks is in there now as well. Like, I feel like you got to be reading the entirety of the Edge line in order to get what's going on here. But at the same time, maybe that's just me. Maybe it is actually more penetrable than I think it is. So I'm going to give it the benefit of the doubt and assume it is more penetrable, in which case I'm giving this a 7. I think it's a well-done story. It's not anything incredible. It didn't do anything that, like, blew me away. The biggest, like, shock moment in the whole thing is Priscilla having wings, which were just played off in, like, it was like a tiny panel at the bottom of one of these pages. Like, it wasn't played for a big moment. So overall, 7. I am liking the story. I'm liking what it's doing. It definitely feels like it's found its footing into the story it wants to tell, and I'm interested to see where it goes from there.